Alright, hello everybody, this is Zaxter99. Today I'm going to go ahead and try to help those of you using Windows 7 or any version of Windows, specifically a way to actually help make your computer run faster. This is a way besides actually running your Malwarebytes and your spyware protection and running an antivirus to make sure that your computer is free of malware and spyware. Now that's a whole nother video, and I'll probably make another video on how to remove malware, spyware, adware, that kind of stuff at another time. But today I want to go ahead and assume that you're already doing that, and I want to show you how to clear up some of the processes that could be using up vital system memory and slowing your computer down. So we'll talk about that right after this. Alright guys, as you can see, I am running Audacity here to record my voice. You can see my voice being recorded here, and that's what you're hearing now. But what I want to talk about is, just assume that's not there. You're looking at your desktop, and you're wondering why every time you run a game or a program, why things just seem to run so slow. Well, it may simply be because you're running too much stuff in the background. Now, I'm not talking about programs and games running right now. I'm talking about stuff that puts little programs in your background that uses up memory while you're doing other tasks. You may not even be aware of it. And it seems like every time you launch a program, whether it be a media player or whether it be Adobe Reader, whatever it is, Adobe Flash Player, Java, all these different programs seem like they install a little program that runs in the background. What these programs do essentially is track your computer, they kind of track what you're doing, and they update their programs automatically, things like that. But the thing is 1, 2, 5, or 10 of these things running in the background usually doesn't slow your computer down too much. But if you're doing a lot of activities on your computer, what happens is these build up over time. And when you get 50 or 40 or 50 of these programs running in the background that you really don't need running every time you launch your Windows, they can take a toll and tax your system. Even the big gaming systems, even if your computer is pretty fast. So let me go ahead and show you how to resolve this and how to even find out what we're talking about. So the first thing you want to do is just go ahead and take your mouse cursor and hover down to your taskbar down at the bottom. Some people might have it on the side or up at the top, but it's wherever your taskbar is. Go ahead and right click on it and choose Start Task Manager. Now if you're using a different version of Windows, you can pretty much do this the same way. Even Windows XP, I believe you could actually start the task manager from that taskbar. Okay, you're going to have a window like this pop up, and this is going to show you applications. If your applications tab is selected, it's going to show you that I have several Firefox windows open. I have a games window open. I can close this, but this isn't what I'm talking about. I want you to look down here, and it shows you, see where I have, let's go ahead and close this one. But you see I have 4 different windows open, and that's because I'm a YouTuber. I make a lot of YouTube videos. I'm looking at performance reports and different things. And I have Audacity recording to record my voice right now. But what I'm talking about here, this is 5 programs. I'm talking about these processes down here. See how it says 70? And it also says these 70 processes and the tasks I'm running right here are using 30% of my CPU power, 36% right now, and 41% of my physical memory, 42%. So what I want you to do is go ahead and click on the Processes tab. And this is what we're talking about right here. Now, all these processes are some of the processes that Windows is running in the background. Now, a lot of these I don't need running every time I launch Windows. I only want to run these when I actually launch that particular program. For example, Steam. Steam is where I buy a lot of games that I review on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, for example. You can also go ahead and click on Services, and you'll see a lot of these running processes are actually taking up memory. Now some of these, like my Avast Antivirus, you can drag these out. You can click on the little lines here and you can just hold down your left mouse button and drag these out if you need more room to see, any of these particular fields. Okay, so if you look at the status, it'll tell you which ones are stopped and which ones running. Now, some of these you may not know what it is, and you may have to Google the service's name to find out what it is, so you know whether to stop it or run it. But you can also click on your Performance tab on Windows 7, and you can actually see how much of your CPU in a graph, and this kind of helps you out as well. And you can see my memory, 3.36 gigabytes, is being used, and I don't even have a game running. So, I have 8 gigabytes of RAM on this system right now, and that means that almost half my memory is being used even before I start a game, even before I start anything else. So I want to try to clear some of this up. I want to try to stop some of these processes that I don't need and see if I can clear up some of this memory being used for basically nothing, just stuff that's running in the background. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over to Start, and I want you to go ahead and type in msconfig right here, all one word. MS stands for Microsoft, config stands for configure. So msconfig, once you do that, you should see an msconfig icon up here. Go ahead and click that just one time with your left mouse button, and it will actually launch your system configuration window right here. So let's go ahead and close this again. And again, don't pay any attention to my Audacity here. Let's go ahead and minimize that. I want you guys to pay attention right here to system configuration window. Now, what a lot of you will see if you've never really played with this is you're going to see this probably on normal startup. Load all device drivers and services. Whereas if you've actually messed with it before and stopped some programs from running, you're probably going to see selective startup already selected. Whatever you see here, you don't need to pay too much attention to this page. What I want you guys to focus on right now is to move over to startup. And this basically means any programs that are running every time you launch Windows. Okay? So from here, go ahead and look at your names of your items. You can actually look at the name of the item. Again, you can drag this out so you can see what it is. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and stop any of these things we don't need running every time Windows is launched. Now, you may have a lot of different things actually starting up every time the startup. So I don't know what this soft perch research is here, but I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. I don't want that. NVIDIA backend, again, I don't know what this is, so I don't want to have this running in the background every time Windows starts up. Google Update. No, I want Google to update on its own whenever it, but I don't need it running in the background. If it needs to update, it should update itself without having to install some little program in the background of my computer. And a tablet driver. This is for a tablet that I have on my computer. I'm going to go ahead and leave that checked. I want to have that driver. I want to have that tablet working when I plug it in. But some of this stuff I don't need. Logitech gaming software, I don't think I need that running every time I launch Windows. I only want that to run if I plug in a particular Logitech controller or Logitech device. So I don't need that. You can also check on services. This is where we was talking about all this stuff running and stopped. You'll want to check on any programs you have running right now. Adobe Acrobat Update Service running. I don't want that running nonstop 24/7. Let's go ahead and uncheck that. And your computer is probably going to have a lot of different things than what I'm showing here, running that you're going to have to make decisions about. If you don't know what something is, you can always uncheck it. And when you reboot Windows, if something's weird, if something's not working, you can always come back and check that device. But if you really don't know what it is, I would do those one at a time. That way you know what it is that's causing the problem. Okay? And once you do this a few times, you will get more and more familiar with what is what. And if you don't know what something is, you can always Google it. Now, the one thing before you even start on this that I forgot to mention is go ahead and come down here and check on hide all Microsoft services. The reason being is because you don't want to uncheck or stop something that is part of Windows, part of the Windows, file system. You don't want to actually stop something that keeps Windows running. So I would go ahead and check hide all Windows services. That way you don't even see anything that's essential for Windows to run properly. So then I see my antivirus. If you have an antivirus, whatever antivirus you're running, you want to leave that checked and running. Okay. So you can see I've already stopped Adobe Acrobat. Adobe Flash Player is already stopped. I can uncheck that if I want to, but it's already stopped. Okay. NVIDIA, I want to leave the GeForce Experience service running. I don't know what the Avast COM service is, but since it's part of the Avast antivirus, it might be something that it needs. So I'm going to go ahead, since I'm not sure, I'm going to go ahead and leave that checked. Hoppage, this is stopped. That's something that I'm using to record software for my PS4, by the way, if you don't know what that is. Hitman Pro Scheduler, I don't need that running. That is a program that's another spyware removal tool. I don't need that running nonstop. I only want that to work when I actually run that program. Lavasoft TCP service, I don't know what that is, but I think that's some kind of a program. I don't need that running right now. Mozilla maintenance service stopped. That's already stopped. NVIDIA network service, NVIDIA streamer service, I don't need either one of those running immediately. I do want to have the driver running though for my graphics card. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck the network and the streamer, but the driver I want to keep running. Origin client service, that is already stopped. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. Cyberlink rich video service. Now I do use Cyberlink Power Director. That's how I edit a lot of my videos all the time. But again, I don't think I want that running all the time. Only if I run the actual program. So again, you're going to want to go ahead and uncheck a lot of this stuff that might be running, especially in your startup. This is where you're really going to want to focus your attention. Any programs that launch themselves automatically when you start up. Now be sure that when you, I don't need Skype updater. You can also come over here, service. I don't need Skype updating. I didn't even know Skype was on my computer, so I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. I don't need it updating. It was already stopped, by the way. I do run Steam quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that running. And NVIDIA 3D driver service, I don't really know what that is. I already have a display driver. I don't think I need this. So I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on unchecking that. And WinTab, I have no idea what this is, but it sounds like some little program running in the background that I probably don't need. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on checking that. And again, I'm just unchecking. Some of the stuff I'm just doing based on experience. And Yahoo Updater, I don't want that running all the time. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that as well. So now you see that I've went through the startup, I've went through the services, I've unchecked stuff that I don't think I need running all the time. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that you hit apply down here, or none of the things that you did will actually take effect. Once you hit OK, it's actually going to pop up, prompt you to reboot Windows. Now in my situation here, Windows is not prompting me to reboot. In this situation, whether you get a reboot window or whether you don't get a reboot window, you're going to want to go ahead and reboot Windows so those changes that you've made are applied. And until you reboot your Windows system, it is not going to make those changes, and you're not going to start saving memory in your background. So go ahead and go to Start and reboot your computer from the Start window and relaunch Windows, and then we'll go ahead and take a look and see if we've done any good. All right, after you've actually rebooted, remember that once we made all those changes in the Task Manager, or actually when we did in the msconfig tool, once we made those changes and unstopped a lot of the services from running in the background, it did not prompt us to reboot, but you want to go ahead and reboot your computer. And once it comes up, you won't see Audacity running and recording like I'm recording my voice now. You're going to come back up to your desktop. So we want to go ahead and see if we've made any improvement. Now remember that before we was running about 29% of our CPU without running any other apps, and about 43% of our memory. And the memory was like almost 3.5 gigs of our 8 gigs of memory. Let's go ahead and check it now and see if we've helped our cause any. Let's go ahead and go back to the taskbar, start Task Manager, and you'll see that the performance is already checked here. If it's not, just go ahead and go to your Performance tab, and you'll see that we've cut down more than half of the gigabyte usage being used. It was about 3.4, I believe. Now it's down to 1.5 gigabytes. So I have a lot more memory free to actually run new applications now. This is going to speed up my computer quite a bit. Also see that we was running 70 processes. Now we're down to 50. and our CPU usage, instead of being 29%, is down between typically 1 to 5%. So we are running a lot smoother and a lot better just by those quick changes already. So that can make a drastic difference, especially if you haven't done this in a while and you have lots of programs. It can make even a bigger difference and definitely speed your computer up big time. Remember that anytime you go and you actually launch any of these programs that you use all the time, whether it be Adobe Flash Player, Adobe Reader, a QuickTime Player, any of these things that you download and play can actually install a little program. Even when you shut that program down, you're no longer using that program, it's going to install some little program that runs in your background and starts up every time you boot up your computer. So that's where you want to go into the Task Manager, and again, that is not Task Manager, but your configuration, MS config tool, and actually stop those. So when you look at your MS config tool, you should see that a lot of this stuff is unchecked under your startup. And hopefully not everything is running under your services. A lot of this stuff hopefully is stopped, except stuff you actually really need. So be sure you check all that. Also, when you do this, make sure you hide your Microsoft services so you're not even seeing any of those, because you don't want to stop something you need for Windows to run. All right. So hopefully that's helped anybody out. Let me know down in the comments below if this has helped me out. If you like this video, if it has helped you, give me a thumbs up. It certainly lets me know that somebody out there appreciates that, or you appreciate the video that I put up for you. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hopefully this helps speed up your computer. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.